Alright, it actually feels kinda nice to be back in the MCU Disney Plus show mix, since it actually feels like these shows have been more impactful on the general direction of the MCU than the Phase 4 movies have been. Like WandaVision and Loki, those are going somewhere. Even What If was part of that. But Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, they haven't really contributed to that. I mean, granted, Spider-Man is about to contribute a bunch to it. I'm just saying, though. And also, I'm pretty sure that this show is not going to contribute to the whole multiverse thing. But I'll just say, the live-action Marvel Disney Plus shows have all been really enjoyable so far. So let's dive into the newest one, with spoilers, so you've been warned. If you have not watched these first 2 episodes yet, you should probably steer clear, because I'm going to be talking about the details. Alright, let's get started. Hawkeye. That was me shooting an arrow, I guess. So Hawkeye is the 5th Disney Plus show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 4. It's the 8th installment overall in Phase 4, and it centers around, well, 2 Hawkeye characters actually. Of course, we have Jeremy Renner returning as Clint Barton, who he's been playing for 10 years now, and we have a new character, Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld. She's also an archer, she's a fan of Clint Barton, and so this is the start of their adventure together. I imagine it's gonna end up resulting in a passing down of the mantle. The first 2 episodes premiered a couple days ago, and so there's a lot to talk about. I mean, first off, surprise how the first episode starts, cause we're in the Battle of New York back in 2012 in the first Avengers movie, and it's revealed that Kate Bishop was there as a kid, living with her parents in a nice, swanky-ass place in New York. So yeah, I guess the Bishop family is quite the wealthy one. But a hole gets blown into the side of their place, her dad dies, but Kate Bishop sees Hawkeye doing that badass stunt that we saw in the first Avengers movie, where he jumps off the building and turns around and shoots the arrow and swings inside. That was a really cool moment. I was watching this scene and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to watch that scene in the Avengers the same way again. Just whenever I watch that scene, I'm gonna be like, Kate Bishop's watching. That's really cool. So now in present day, Kate Bishop is all grown up. She's gorgeous as hell because she's Haley Steinfeld. Although it's weird, the posters show her with blue eyes and I'm like, that is not her natural eye color. That looks really strange. I have no idea why they did that. But she's a snap survivor, she's a decent martial artist, and I guess she's kind of an amateur vigilante of sorts? I don't know, I guess she just likes to get herself into trouble. And honestly speaking, these first 2 episodes, especially this first episode, they seem to revolve more around Kate Bishop than they do around Clint Barton. Yeah, I feel like this is really gonna be her story, which I guess is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if she's gonna take over the mantle of Hawkeye, then yeah, let's build her up. Although, of course, Clint Barton is the other main character here. And we catch up with him and his kids, and they're watching Rogers the Musical, which, yeah, I was watching it like, this is pretty bad. The song itself, which has been released, it's alright, decent quality. It sounds like a Broadway song, but just the production value of the whole thing, I was like, yeah, the costumes are bad. It's not accurate. Ant-Man wasn't even there at the Battle of New York, which Clint Barton points out. It really made me think that if the founding fathers of America were somehow able to see Hamilton, they would probably react the same way that Clint reacted to Rogers the Musical. They'd probably look at it like, that's not how it was. This is stupid. Interesting how perspective does that. One thing I really like though is the fact that Clint Barton has a hearing aid. Cause yeah, it totally makes sense. We see the montage of big explosions that he's been through. He's just a normal fleshy human being, so yeah, he would lose his hearing. That tinnitus must be driving him apeshit. I just think that's really cool character development for him. And he is dad of the year too. When he's sitting at the restaurant with his kids and he's like, this is gonna be the best Barton Christmas ever. Alright, what do we wanna do? Gingerbread house? You got it. Christmas movie marathon? Great. Ugly Christmas sweaters? We're gonna do it all. I was like, man, this guy just loves his kids so much. I don't know, it gives me a good feeling. Which does make it all the more sad and disappointing when he sends away his kids so he can go on this mission. Yeah, you gotta be feeling that he is, once again,
disappointing my kids.
These first 2 episodes really made me think about Clint Barton's character in a way that I've never thought about him before. Which, I mean, of course makes sense since this is his show, and he finally has the spotlight. But when you think about it, he never signed up to be an Avenger. He was roped into the mix when Loki took over his mind. So when he got knocked out of it, he had a vendetta against Loki. He wanted to take him out. So he joined the Avengers to do that. And ever since then, he was like, well, I guess I'm part of this team now. Which I guess was fine for him, but he never wanted to brand himself. He never wanted to be famous. He tells Kate Bishop, he's like, I'm not selling anything. Which I guess is why a lot of people don't recognize him in public. Since in the MCU, I guess he was the least marketable Avenger. That's just really interesting to me. So in the first episode, Kate Bishop and her mother Eleanor, played by Vera Farmiga, they're at this fancy schmancy socialite gala, and this is really cool. Kate Bishop stumbles into some black market auction where they have the Ronin stuff, which we remember seeing briefly in Avengers Endgame. Clint Barton was going around as this vigilante Ronin, or I guess he was the Ronin. He was wiping out crime time in killing dudes. So now that sword and the suit have been found in the wreckage of the Avengers compound. We remember it was blown to bits by Thanos, so alright, now they're here. But the auction is attacked by the tracksuit mafia, who I'll get to in a minute. The sword is stolen by that Jack guy, who I'll also get to later, and Kate gets the suit. And I like the detail that the Ronin suit is a little big on her, because she's not as tall as Clint Barton. But alright, this tracksuit mafia, otherwise known I guess as the bro gang. I like how they say bro all the time. Bro, you're in trouble now, bro. That was funny. And actually they are kind of funny. They're incompetent. Just makes the show a little more entertaining than if they were just serious bad guys instead. You know, because that would be boring. So let's make them funny, bro. But Clint Barton gets a whiff of this. He's like, ah, shit, someone's got my old Ronin suit. Alright, kids, time to go home. And he meets Kate Bishop at the end of the first episode. I like how he's like, come on, seriously? This young girl has my old ninja badass Ronin suit? And likewise, I like how Kate Bishop is just starstruck. She's like, oh my god, you're Hawkeye, you're my favorite Avenger, holy shit. And this does end up being kind of like a Peter Parker, Tony Stark, Spider-Man Homecoming kind of relationship, where the kid who's trying to be a superhero, she idolizes her mentor, and she's giving it her all, whereas the mentor figure really couldn't care less about this kid, at first anyway. So now in the second episode, Clint Barton wants to get that Ronin suit back, but Kate Bishop's place is attacked by the tracksuit mafia, and the suit is lost in that attack. I guess it was retrieved by some fireman who is also a LARPer. So now Clint has to go to where all the LARPers are, and I'll admit, this scene, I actually thought it was kind of stupid. I don't know, I mean, I'm a nerd and I'm proud of it. And sure, I've always wanted to give cosplay a try, but live action role players are on another level entirely. I just could never do that. And honestly, I think Clint feels the same way, because when he goes to this thing, he's like, oh my god, these guys, I just want the suit. I don't want any trouble. I don't want to participate in your weird thing you got going on here. But he has to, so he's going around and fighting all these guys, and I'm like, this is weird. For me, I guess this was the down point of the episode. Of the first two, really. But at least he got the suit back, so that's a good thing. Also interesting here is that the identity of the Ronin figure during the 5 years remains a mystery. I didn't know that. That's really cool. No one knows who he was, which I wonder if his wife knows or if his kids know. I'm not sure about that. I imagine Kate Bishop's gonna find out soon. I guess we'll see. So now, alright, let's talk about Jack Duquesne here, because this guy's an asshole. I just don't like him. I mean, clearly he is hiding something, since he was at that black market auction and he stole the Ronin sword. So he's got a shady side to him. The fact that he's engaged to Kate Bishop's mother doesn't help at all. And also, at least for right now, it looks like he's the one who killed that Armand guy, because he takes out that butterscotch and Kate Bishop's like, oh shit, there were butterscotches there that night. Kate Bishop really does have a certain proclivity for snooping around. And maybe Jack was the one who killed Armand, maybe he wasn't, I don't know. Right now, I'm not really concerned about that. So Clint Barton now wants to see how high up this tracksuit mafia goes. He wants to take these guys down already. So he gets himself caught, and Kate Bishop attempts to rescue him. She fails. So now they're both there. And so the mafia's like, alright, let's bring out the boss. And as soon as I saw the first shot with the red light, I was like, oh shit, here we go. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Maya Lopez, aka Echo, played by Alakwa Cox. Now the show's about to get real interesting. I don't know if Echo is the tip-top boss of this whole mafia. There's a rumor that Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin is gonna come back and he's gonna be like the head of this mafia. I'm not gonna put all my chips in that basket, cause again, the Mephisto fiasco of WandaVision. Not gonna do that again. And honestly, I do kinda doubt it. I guess we'll just see what happens. But alright, now Echo is in the mix. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in action. Cause from what I've heard about her, she's a really cool character. She's a deaf Native American who's badass at hand-to-hand combat. How's that not cool? So in the end, these first 2 episodes of Hawkeye, they were a little slow and bloated in my opinion. Like, I don't really care about the whole Jack and Eleanor thing yet. There were definitely some scenes in both of these episodes that I felt didn't need to be in them, and that LARP scene was definitely weird. But now I feel like it's about to get a whole lot better with Echo in the mix. Cause I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of relationship she ends up having with Clint Barton and Kate Bishop. And plus, Yelena Belova's coming too. I'm looking forward to seeing her again as well. So I think the best is yet to come for this Hawkeye series. So, the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye, Never Meet Your Heroes and Hide and Seek. Have you watched them yet? What do you think about them? And what do you think might happen in next week's episode? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go watch part 2 of that Beatles Get Back documentary. Sure, it's long, but it's so interesting to a Beatlemaniac like myself. Peace!